What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and we all knew at some point that the run was probably going to come to an end. I mean, 13-game winning run is incredible. And to go on a 14-game winning run when your opponent is Tottenham, who are playing really well right now, and you're playing at their home, yeah, it didn't seem incredibly likely. It felt like maybe we get a tie. If we lost, it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. But here's the problem. The matter, or not the matter, the manner of which we lost, that, in my opinion, is extremely embarrassing. It's not the loss. It's not the fact that our winning run got broken. It's not the fact that we didn't score a goal today. It's how we lost. That is just incredibly frustrating for me. And I have not been this pissed off since we lost 3-0 to Arsenal. Like, I'm in fact probably a little bit more pissed off by this result because at least against Arsenal, it felt like, okay, at the end of the game, there was some hope. At the end of the game, it felt like we have a chance to come back from this because how we played in the second half was actually okay. This game, it started off like we have a chance today. We have a chance to extend this run. We get scored on at halftime. Even then, we come out second half. I'm like, we have a chance. After that, after the second goal, I'm looking at this. I'm like, we might be in trouble. And of course, I'm saying this. Who knows? Maybe next game Conte is going to be like, that wasn't good enough, and we'll go. But let's look at the things that are the most frustrating about this game, because obviously we can look at what led to the goals. I mean, it's obvious to see what led to the goals, but let's see what is the most frustrating about this. First of all, something we can't control. The referee today, god awful, one-sided, completely let the home fans get into his ear. It's so frustrating to see throughout this entire winning run. It's like, why are the refs so one-sided at times? Not all the games, but there were quite a few. Especially recently, it felt like we could not catch a break. And today was no different. I mean, Dembele should change his name to Dim Elbow, because how many times did he throw an elbow into the back of somebody? There's one, possibly a penalty. It looked like it may have been on the edge of the box, but Moses is running in. Dembele comes in elbow first, and AR is just like, I didn't see anything. Thanks for the money, dude. I don't understand how they couldn't catch any of that. And he did it like 3 or 4 times, that threw that elbow into the back of somebody or into the side of somebody. I'm just, how? How can you not see these things? But overall, it was one-sided. There were a few calls that should have gone Chelsea's way that didn't. There were some that shouldn't have gone Tottenham's way. There was a Danny Rose dive that really should have been a card for him, but no, it's a foul for Rose. So I don't know how the referee missed all of it, but okay, that's beyond our control. We've dealt with bad refs before, we won. Well, Conte's decisions today were terrible. His lineup was not bad. At this point, the lineups for me are kind of like, I would prefer to see some players in over others, but I don't mind, because it feels like even if there's a player that's I'm not exactly agreeing with seeing in the starting lineup, I can still see where, okay, the players around him are going to do okay. Well, you get to halftime, that's 1-0. At this point, a change has to be made. Pedro was awful the first half. Did nothing. He was not just... It wasn't like, oh, he's not helping us, but he's not hurting us either. No, he was hurting us. He was losing the ball. He gave away a silly challenge that got himself a yellow card that led to one of Tottenham's best chances in the first half before the goal. And I'm just like, he's got to go. We got to bring Willian on over him. And then also, Marcos Alonso's got to come off at some point, because he's been awful today. I don't care who you put out there. If you want to put Willian on the wing, maybe that would work. I don't know. Maybe put Ivanovic over there even. I don't know. Just somebody else besides Alonso, because he was awful. And then Matic was just a spectator. Obviously, Cahill I have issues with too, but you can't really sub him. So Matic was the third sub. I was like, you got to take him off. He's just been doing nothing all game. Even his defensive challenges weren't great defensive challenges. He was just kind of making the challenges that he should be making in that position. So, getting to the second half, and I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, so no subs yet. Okay. Maybe he's going to wait just a few minutes, give Pedro a chance to play himself back into the game. Okay. You know what? Goal. Great. We're going to not make any subs. We're going to give up a goal. Oh, and now you take it off Marcos Alonso, not Pedro first. Okay, Alonso hasn't been playing well. Oh, Willian comes in. Okay, so that might be good. Willian could go out to the wing. We could have Moses and Willian. I understand. I prefer Pedro off, but maybe he's working this towards going to be Willian and Moses on the wings, and then when Pedro comes off a few minutes later, then it's going to be more of like a 3-5-2 with Fabregas, Magic, Conte in the middle, and Hazard. And okay, I agree with this. I think this is a great lineup. No, none of what I just said. Everything that I said probably would have been better than what happened. Because what happened was Pedro goes out to the wing, so now Walker has plenty of time to do whatever the hell he wants because Pedro is a terrible player. So, yeah, Walker has plenty of time, and before people get mad, I'm not saying Pedro's not good at times, but today he was awful. But Walker had plenty of time to do whatever he wanted. Pedro didn't do anything because he was ineffective today. And now you still got the 3-4-3, which, in my opinion, needed to be switched up a little bit because what we had wasn't working. So let's switch it up. Let's change it to a 3-5-2. Get Fabregas in there. Fabregas is coming in great with only 12 minutes left. And then you take off Conte. You idiot. You absolute idiot. I've loved Antonio Conte through most of this, pretty much all of this run. But today, just like against Arsenal, I thought to myself, against Arsenal, I was like, he is an idiot today. He was an idiot today as well. First of all, Conte, why take him off? Out of all the players you could take off, Matic, you could take Matic off. You could have taken Pedro off, obviously. You could have taken off any of the three defenders and put Matic back in defense. That would have been smarter. The only decision that would have been dumber than taking Conte off would be taking Hazard off. But whatever. Okay, so Fabregas is finally on. Maybe he'll get a chance to do something. Except for the fact that we still have Pedro out there. And the fact that Costa had kind of given up at that point. And then finally, with like 5 minutes left, he's like, let's throw Batshuayi on. And of course, at this point, the game's already gone because half of the players have given up. And that's the final point that I want to make about this game. That is the most frustrating. Some of these players just did not care at the end of the game. And that's the most frustrating thing about it. And that's why at the end of the Arsenal game, you could see the fight was there. They were like, okay, we're going to take this and we're going to get better. At the end of this game, it's like, The only player out of all 14 players that played today, the only player that is completely immune from my criticism, my hatred today, is Hazard. I thought he put in a great performance. I thought he did as much as he could, and he just didn't have the players around him that cared enough to do what he was doing. But he made some great runs, made some great passes, even got back and helped on defense a couple times, which is pretty much unheard of from him. So the fact that he had the willingness to do all of that, Hazard, great game today. I don't have anything bad to say about him. The rest of the players, though, Courtois obviously didn't have a whole lot to do. The first goal, I don't think he could have done much for, but the second one, he should have stayed in his goal. You know, it's kind of a rookie mistake. You see the cross coming in, you're not going to get to it, just stay there. If your defenders aren't able to get to that header, well, you're still in the goal, so it doesn't matter that he's heading it back across because you're a 6'4" goalkeeper with like a 6-foot arm span, so there's no way he's heading it over you. But whenever you go chasing the ball, yeah, he's got a wide open goal to aim for, so that was disappointing. Cahill, people are probably going to blame those two goals on Azpilicueta and Moses. In my opinion, the crosses never should have come because Eriksen is a great crosser of the ball. We know he's got the quality to do it. He's been doing it for the past 3 years now. So stop the cross from Eriksen. On both times, which side of the field did it come from? Gary Cahill's side. And on the second one especially, he's the one that should be closing down. On the first one, he was one of 3 that should have closed down the ball. But the second one, it was him sitting there like, oh no, what do I do? And then the cross comes in because Eriksen has all the time in the world. It's so simple. Just close him down. And it's like Cahill doesn't know how to do that. And aside from that, he made one good challenge today. The rest of it was like, he's like a spectator in defense. And honestly, that's been why we've given up 4 goals in the past 2 games. He's one of the issues. He's such a stagnant defender that whenever the passes start moving, he's still standing still. And so the passes start moving, the ball goes around him, and he's done. He does not move enough. And honestly, I think this is where Zuma, if he gets a chance in the next few games, I think this is where Zuma starts to push him out the door, because I think Zuma will at least move a lot more than that. David Luiz today played some stupid balls. Got pulled out of position too many times, because he's, once again, it's like, it's not the first time that I've seen him getting pulled out of position and doing all this crazy stuff. But this is the first game where he finally got punished for it. And I've said this in a couple other games. I think it was the first Tottenham and Man City games that we played. There were moments where you could see David Luiz getting pulled out of position, diving into challenges, but it was like he wasn't getting punished for it because Cahill or Azpilicueta were stepping in and winning it after that. So you could see the mistakes being made, but people were covering for him. Today, people were not covering for him, and so now these mistakes lead to goals, almost, kind of. But, they lead to very good chances, and now the quality is starting to fade, and now the lack of, I guess, cohesion in the defense is starting to fade. And so now he's starting to be shown for the average defender that he is. And even his long balls today, I don't know if his knee is still bothering him or what, but his long balls today were terrible. I can't think of one that was a good long ball to somebody. And in fact, there was one I actually stopped watching after the 92nd minute because David Luiz just kicked it out of bounds. Like he had nothing. Nobody was moving for him. He didn't really have any options to his left or right. And so instead of trying to work something for himself, he got frustrated and just kicked it all the way out of bounds to the other side of the field. At that point, I was like, I'm done. You're an idiot. I don't care that nobody's moving for you. Cool your head and make something happen. Do something about it. Don't just kick it out of bounds. That's stupid. Azpilicueta had his worst game since the 3-4-3 switch. There have been a few questions, in the last game, like I said, there were those challenges where the ball comes across and Azpilicueta is the defender there, but he missed that last challenge and that led to the goal. But what made it okay, what made my opinion of him not drop, is the fact that those were 2 challenges out of 30 that he made in the entire game. Today, he didn't have a whole lot to do. I mean, a lot of the challenges coming in were Moses, or they were going down the right side. So he didn't really have a whole lot to do. And then on top of that, you don't track Dele Alli for both of those goals. Yeah, he had some issues today. He still did some good stuff, still had a couple good moments, but overall, I think he was very ineffective today. And considering how good he's been in the past several games, I think that's a real disappointment for him. And I hope that this drives him to go and do better in the next few games after this. The wingbacks, like I said, Marcos Alonso, terrible today. Just absolutely, he had one good cross that Pedro couldn't get on the end of, and that was it. The rest of it, he had to track back a lot, and he's not good at that. He's not good at defending, so he gets pulled out of position and leaves Walker all the room in the world. Just absolutely terrible today. Moses, also not good today. Just too many times where he's getting pulled out of position. He's not an out-and-out wing back, so he doesn't know the position very well. But it's like today there was no communication between him and Azpilicueta, so today you could see he's not a wing back. I mean, on the first goal, he left Dele Alli onside because he stepped back into a position he shouldn't have been in. So I don't know what was going on today. Like I said, maybe he and Azpilicueta weren't communicating as well because I've heard that's why he normally does so well there, because Azpilicueta's constantly talking to him. But whatever the case, I mean, even going forward, it felt like he just wasn't as effective on the ball. A couple times did create a chance or two, but when I think of Moses on the ball, I think of him running past defenders, and it's like he didn't do that today. And obviously Danny Rose is a good defender, so getting past him is not easy, but you still expect him to at least create an opportunity or two, at least get a cross in, but he wasn't even doing that. It was like he was constantly getting stopped every time he had the ball. I think it was disappointing for the quality that he has. Matic, like I said, spectator today. Just didn't create anything going forward, didn't do a whole lot defensively to justify why he's in there. I don't know what happened. I don't know if just maybe he had a knock, maybe he was hungover from New Year's. I don't know. It was so bizarre because I expect Matic to do more than that. I expect him to do more defensively. I expect him to at least win some headers or something. He wasn't doing anything today. I hardly even knew he was in there half the time. So it was just really bizarre. Conte probably had, of everybody else aside from Hazard, probably had the best game just because he worked so hard. The biggest problem he has, though, is he does give the ball away a few times. There was one where he gave it away that he got pulled back, and the referee decided, who cares? But there were a few where he doesn't have any pressure on him. He has all the time, all the space, and he just passes it right to a Tottenham player. And so you're kind of like, how can you not make a better pass than that? But, he still works so hard defensively. I don't think you can take him out of the team because of all the hard work he does. It really does amaze me, and it really amazed me the fact that he actually got taken off, because I'm like, he's the only one that's actually working right now. Everybody else is kind of jogging and walking around, and you're going to take the one running player off. Really? I don't know. It was really strange, but Pedro, already talked about him, terrible today, gave the ball away, didn't create much going forward, he does create a few chances here and there, and he does do a few clever things here and there. But what he does to hurt us so outweighs those moments that I don't understand why he's featuring in this game at all. Why he finished the 90 minutes. He should be gone. Even the last sub when Batshuayi came on, he should have been the sub to come off. It should have been Willian out to the other wing, but instead it was just nah. We'll just take Moses off. That'll do it. It was absolutely stupid, but Hazard, good game. Like I said, I already talked about it. He was the only one that felt like if somebody was going to get a goal in this game, it was going to be Hazard because he looked like he was creating so much. I just expected him to run through like 5 defenders. And honestly, I think because he wants to be more of a team player, he doesn't want to be that selfish player that's going to try to run through 3 or 4 people. I think that really hurt him today because his teammates weren't doing a whole lot. I'll talk about Costa in a second, but Costa, Pedro, even to an extent Marcus Alonso, he was trying to find them and play them, and I think today he would have benefited from being a little bit more selfish and actually trying to take on a few more players, because he has the quality to. It's just a matter of, can he find the time to do it? Can he find the right time to do it? And most of the time he is looking for that pass, that outlet. So, but Costa, really, in my opinion, he's been the best overall player in this new formation. Since Conte switched to this, he has been our best player. So today, to see him be the worst player on the pitch, aside from Pedro and Cahill, because they're just constantly making mistakes, but to see him be the laziest and worst player in the second half is really disappointing. And if it weren't for the fact that he has been so good in this run, I'd be calling for his head right now, because today, awful. In the first half, he had a normal first half for Costa. His thing in the past few games has been, in the first half, he had these little flash points. He had these moments where he all of a sudden pops up and he's creating a chance and he's running at the defense or something like that. And we saw that. And then that second ball to Pedro, who doesn't make the run in behind, that's disappointing. But overall, he has these moments and then all of a sudden kind of fades out of the game, so the defense kind of stops. It's almost like he does it on purpose, so the defense maybe stops focusing on him, and all of a sudden pops up with this bit of quality, and all of a sudden the defense is like, oh crap, we got to close him down. So he does that in the first half, fine. Second half comes on, really turns on, and that's what he's been doing. Second half has always been his moment to just turn it on and go and take on the defense and have these great shots, and almost got a goal today. Second goal for Tottenham goes in. That's it. No more Costa. The only time I was saying Costa's name was when he was getting offsides because he's too lazy to get back. Lazy, disappointing, lazy in the second half. After the second goal, because before that it was like, okay, Costa's finally going to do something. I don't understand. I don't understand that mindset. I'm not even a professional player. And all I can think is, if my team gives up a second goal, I'm going to work even harder now to make sure we get back into this game. If I were Costa after that second goal, I'd be the one to be like, guys, let's go. I'd be the leader that steps up and says, let's go, put in one myself, and now all of a sudden it's 2-1. We're back in the game. But no, he just turned off. He completely turned off. He got lazy. He started just playing random balls. He started trying to dribble, losing the ball. He started standing off sides instead of working hard to make sure he stayed onside. I don't know why. I don't know what happened in his mind to make him think, oh yeah, I'm done now. But he did. He turned off completely, and it's really disappointing from a player of his quality, from somebody who's been kind of leading Chelsea through this 13-game winning streak, to see him so completely turn off in the second half and just say whatever. It's really disappointing, and it frustrates me, obviously. He's the biggest frustration throughout this entire game for me, though, because of the fact that he can do better. I've seen him do better. So I don't understand why. If I had one question right now, I'd ask Costa, why? Why did you just give up? Why couldn't you try to push on and do something about this deficit? But no, nothing. So then after that, the players that came on, Willian, did some stuff, I guess. I don't know. His quality hasn't been there before the Stoke game. Obviously, Stoke, he turned it on, but before the Stoke game, there's some questions about him. Is he the same quality from last season? What's he going to do now? So after the Stoke, I was like, okay, turned it on. That's good. But then today he comes on and it's back to the same old stuff. Couple moments where he's dribbling, taking somebody on with speed, but overall, not really effective and not really doing much. Fabregas came on, and at that point, 12 minutes left in the game, it's just too late. Fabregas has to kind of grow into the game. He has to have these balls that he plays that really starts to set up the momentum and gets us rolling and help Costa get back into the game maybe because he had started fading out of it. So at this point with Costa faded out of the game, 12 minutes left is not enough time to do anything about it, and the players around him had pretty much given up. And on top of that, without Conte in the midfield, now he has to do a whole lot of work because Matic was a non-factor today. So overall, I think that sub, while a good one, wasn't done at the right time, wasn't for the right player, and so it wasn't as effective as it could have been. And then the last one, Batshuayi, was just, I don't know, let's go two forwards for the last 5 minutes to see what happens. And Batshuayi hasn't had enough game time for me to expect him to come on and do anything, so he came on and did pretty much nothing. So overall, will this matter? I don't know. Maybe this loss will be like, okay, we need to buck up our ideas and next game come out even stronger. Maybe this will be a call for Pedro to be on the bench for the next few games, so that way now other players have the chance to step in. Maybe this will be a sign that, okay, Marcus Alonso isn't cutting it. We need to go get another wingback to replace him, or get a better one to, I don't know, something to put there that is just better than what we've got right now. In all, I mean, 13-game winning run is incredible. And that's kind of the idea that I want to take. The mindset that I want to take out of this game. It would be so easy to look at this and be like, oh, we're done now. Look at that performance. That was terrible. Our run is over. We're done for the rest of the season. We're going to go lose the title now. It would be so easy to go and say that after this game. But I don't want to. I want to look at this and be like, okay, we had a 13-game winning run, which was incredible. We faced Tottenham, who are a good team, in form, at their place. Okay, a loss might happen. But look at where we are from the beginning of the season. Look at how, we narrowly beat Watford. We narrowly beat West Ham. We had a good game against Burnley. Then we tied Swansea. We lost to Liverpool and Arsenal. Now, a loss against Tottenham is disappointing. That's kind of the mindset that we expect to win this game. We expect to tie this game. So a loss to Tottenham is disappointing, where at the beginning of the season, a loss to Liverpool was like, oh, well, Liverpool are a good team this year. We're kind of still getting our feet back, so, okay, maybe. So, I don't know. I guess the mindset for me has changed from the beginning of the season, where top 4 was our aspiration. Now, title is our aspiration. And so a loss now seems, oh, well, that's really disappointing. And I don't know. We've come such a far way from where we were at the beginning of the season. that I want to look at the positives and say, look at how far we've come since then. We're still 5 points off of Liverpool in second place, so that's a good thing. That's something to be excited about. The fact that we still got 5 more points before we lose that, and on top of that, we've got a ton of time until the next game, so we have time to prepare for after this game. So I guess my final message to anybody happen to be watching this video is don't let this defeat kind of get you down and get you worried. Obviously, like I said, very disappointing into the game, very disappointed with the lack of effort, the sort of players that just sort of gave up at the end of the game. David Luiz, Costa, to some extent Matic. It is disappointing, it is frustrating, but I don't think you can look at that and be like, oh, well, that's the rest of our season right there. I think this is just a little blip. This is a moment where, okay, we stumbled, we lost that winning run. It was a great winning run, but let's go on from here and do even better things. We've got 18 games left in the season. Let's go on another winning run. Let's start now. Let's get our ideas back to where they should be, and let's do this. Let's go on from this game and do something even better. So those are my thoughts for this game. I hope that Conte does look at this and see the problems, see the issues, and hopefully by the next game we have a couple new players come in. We have some different options to choose from. I really like to see Kennedy possibly get a chance at that wingback role, but it's just, for me, I think Kennedy is a quality young player. I think he deserves to be given a chance because what I saw from him last season, what I saw from him at the beginning of preseason, he looks like he's a young player who has the quality to really make it in this Chelsea side. It's just a matter of giving him the time, and Watford didn't give him the time. So I think now that he's coming back from loan, give him a chance, let him be that wingback. Especially against Leicester at their place. Leicester are not full of confidence right now, so it might be a good chance to give him a chance to make a run in the side. I say maybe even give Chalobah a chance to show what he can do, because Conte obviously isn't going to be up seated anytime soon. Fabregas, I think after this game, may get a chance in the side because Matic wasn't great today. So maybe Chalobah up behind Costa, maybe alongside Hazard, possibly. But either way, I still think our future is looking bright. I still think we have a chance to go from here and win the title. So, looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this game? Who was your worst man of the match? Who was your best man? Well, obviously it was Hazard, but let me know what you think about it. We can talk about it, discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. I'll see you at the next game. Peace out.